Okay, we're going to be bringing some more fonts into Dimension. I really want to get like a good look at some of the different fonts. And obviously in Adobe Fonts, you have access to a bunch of free fonts basically. So that's pretty handy. Now for bubble letters, there are a bunch of good ones. I've actually got a filter on heavy weighted ones. So yeah, Strenuous is good. Bungee is kind of interesting. Let's actually turn this filter off. There was a couple more that I liked. Bubblegum Pop. I think if you look at Bubblegum Pop, let's take a look at the uppercase. Yeah, Bubblegum Pop uppercase is pretty cool. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to activate these fonts and we're going to bring them into Dimension. All right, let's bring some text in. This is going to be a little bit more of a relaxed one. Like I'm not going to go overboard with things. This is going to be Earth. So we did fire. It was you know what's really funny is if you go to the start assets. I never even realized this, but there's actually uh, yeah, it's literally there. The elements like that. How is air this color though? The thing is, air and water are basically the same color. Air should just be a lighter shade of. I don't see how air is purple in any construct. I'm not sure how people. I think it's just because nothing is purple, right? So people have to create reasons for something to be purple. Before we actually uh, get going with this, though, let's actually. I wanted to check. I've actually got a bunch of new fonts recently. I've been looking. This is a really old font I got. Did I get this? Maybe I didn't actually. Maybe it was already there. Think about this font. This is like an old school font. I was like looking through the history of fonts recently, and this type of font it was characterized by the sort of like the main pieces of the font being kind of thick, and then the edges of it being really thin. And it's like you can kind of see like if you actually look at like a lot of fonts, you can kind of see why it's like that. I wonder like I'm just kind of curious. This is just going to be like because this beveling business, right, is kind of key to 3D text, and I'm kind of like curious to see like what we could actually do with that. Like, what I'm curious about is how does it actually affect like things, right? And like, there's only four options here, so it should be a case I should be able to. I feel like whatever you do, you have to make the text deeper, right? This is going to be like a slightly different kind of episode, by the way. And now does the when I press F here, yeah, it will put it at least in the right place. I feel like the old fonts are not really suitable for beveling. It doesn't look like it, right? If I did what I did in my last episode, maybe. Interesting. Because it's kind of funny, like the. Let's see. Let's try changing this number. No, I don't like that. It does seem like it's really not that suitable for it. Although, like, I don't know. I think maybe you just have to do like a bunch of different types of thing. This is actually quite. This would look quite good if it was like all shiny, right? Could actually just change it to be shiny for a minute. Should we just make the let's just make that side bit really shiny. This is I will get to what I'm actually doing. Earth would be a green color, right? Yeah, well, you know what? I'm probably not going to get that far in this episode. I just like I wanted to mess around with the fonts like a lot. Shininess. Oh, look at that. Make it super rough. These two things are really important. Let's see how that affects that. Interestingly, it's much more uniform when I do it there. Should get a more pleasant sort of shape. That looks terrible. Alright, let's undo everything. I'm not going to go too far into this. I want to get to the point where we didn't even put Bodoni in. Let's see. All right, the other font that I got Nouvelle. No, you don't want to show me it now, do you? There you do. I got Nouvelle Vague. Let's have a look at this one. So what sort of like I wonder like I think with everything you have to like a 0 doesn't look too bad. What actually happens if you do a bevel with 0? These are like important questions, right? So let's see what happens when you do a bevel at 0. Obviously, like super serif, this one, like ridiculously serif. So there's no depth, but will anything actually happen? It's like, I'm just trying to understand what a bevel even means. Right. So it kind of adds depth, right? A bevel is depth, but in the forward, right? I think that's basically like depth has only got one thing, depth, and that's it. Because the back of the text is seen as less important. But because the front of the text is more important, that's why really this just means this is like depth from the back and this is depth from the front. Okay. So if everything is 0 here, yeah, this makes no difference then. What do you repeat here? Does that affect anything? No. So basically, these two will not do anything. It's all about the width and the angle. And these two are almost like repeat and spacing. I thought spacing was space between the text letters. Maybe not. No, it's because it's part of the bevel. Kind of interesting. So the angle, what does it mean, angle? It's kind of like such a strange thing to say about something like this. I think like width is the only reason. If I did width and then angle 100, it would do nothing, right? As well. Yeah, so you have to have width of the bevel. So really, if you really boil it down, depth and width are the only two that matter. So if I do depth 2, this is like on like a fundamental thing, like depth 1, and then we do width. Wait, is that not changing? Why is that not changing then? It changed when I was at 0. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, it's because the angle is 100. Let's put everything at 0 here. All right, so the depth, neither of these. So width, is this on? No, okay, wait a second. Wait a second. Depth 2. So without an angle, it won't actually do anything. Is that really correct? I guess it is, right? So these two are really very important to use together. So almost like this one should be in the... See, that won't do anything. But yeah, it looks like you want to sort of match up the... This is obviously a slightly... like... So it makes sense to match up those two. Hmm. Now this font is very angular, right? That looks poor. Just want to see which one would look best here. Round outline. Yeah, I think these two seem to be the best. It could just be that they're the ones that are easy. Interestingly, round looks much better on angular text because it takes the sheet. It takes the right. So if round looks better on angular text, then that should be the case that square would look better on rounder text, right? I think that must be true, right? So this is super angular text. Let's go back, and we're gonna put our bubblegum pop that we actually looked up, which was actually the whole reason for this video, right? Which was actually the whole reason for this video, right? Okay, where is it? Jesus Christ, man. All right. So let's look in our. You know what? There's one other. There's before. I know we should get to it. I just want to check. This is kind of similar sort of story. We're gonna go for Dolce. Dolce is actually a slightly rounder one. So this one might look better with the square outline. Let's try the square outline. Let's do a little depth to it. You see, it's because it's got. What I'm really curious is the bevel. It's like an engraving into the text. It's kind of cool, that, right? If I make the depth higher, I'm trying to think, like, how can we make it look like that it's really like these parts of the letters are actually like hollow, and you can see all the way through. Like, you can't see all the way through that, right? That's what I want to do. Like, be able to see. This might be a good angle actually to see just on like one of the letters there. Interesting. I think that's what you wanted to do. If you're going to see it, you may as well see the whole thing. But you probably want it to be like there, right? You can see it's more defined. Probably want it to be pretty high. I think, yeah, definitely zooming in is kind of handy. You can see the repeat. It's like fingerprints in a way. And what is the classic one like then? Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. Just add a little splash of color on it. You know what's weird as well is the bevel is. Yeah, maybe we should just work like this with the actual bevel rather than putting anything on the thing. Interesting. Let's put this color back in there as well. I just want to see how it. I didn't mean to do that. You know what's weird is that it does the whole lot for some reason. You also have to move it up as well, I noticed. Like if you do this, it's like there's sort of like snapping. I'm pretty sure this means it's just, but there's also a snapping down here somewhere. Oh no, I found one when there was peat. Like I think that's just like, yeah, if you look underneath, it should be flush, right? I'm pretty sure that's flush. Anyway, we'll get into. Let me just. Can I actually just put the proper mode on? Not really. I could put it on, but it's just going to make things slower, and I don't want to compromise. All right. Let's get back. Okay, so finally, we're actually going to do what we're going to go to this bubblegum one now. All right, let's go back to our bubblegum and see if we can achieve anything with this. You want to let me just select it? I guess not. All right, so which bubblegum did we want? I think I took a couple, right? We took the highlight, we took the shadow. I kind of want to see the shadow. Wow, that looks like it needs a lot of work. So that does not look good. I think that's you don't need to be have a PhD in art to know that it's not looking good. And why is that? Well, we said earlier that square outline. Let's see if square outline just fixes it. I bet it does. Not really. Not really. Could be the angle is too high as well. I think the depth is too much. All right, we're going to start with this. It is quite an unusual font, this. I think it'd be very difficult to even get it to look. You know what the problem is? It's got this. It's got like, this is like its own beveling, isn't it, in a way? Let's think about how we might want to do this. We need to give it at least a little bit of depth, right? I think not much. Stuff like this doesn't look like it. I think two. Let's go like 2.1. Can you do that? It is possible, yeah. This might actually look better if we had a background color as well. It's kind of weird doing the background color the same. I feel like stuff like this, you need to contrast it so that the feel of the text looks like a contrast. It's pretty dark, that. You know what the problem is also is it's very hard to read it. I don't think bubble text is really meant for this, to be honest. But how could you isn't there any way I could make it? There must be a way to make it more readable. I think that's kind of like the interesting thing about bubble text is that you can change the scale of it, right? These are things I didn't actually look at that much. But you see, I think like doing the what would Z change? Z is interesting because it's like, what's the difference between changing the Z of the text and then it's kind of like weird as well that it actually has got like a vanishing point. Pretty far back. Well, that is really far back. This would be good artwork on itself. Kind of looks better, to be honest. It's like I'm sure that's like a horrible. I don't want to press this button here because this is like 1,000 centimeters. Do I even look at shadow yet? I don't think I even opened this category yet. No, sorry, that's just the Don't worry about what I just said. This is the letter spacing, right? Pretty sure that's what it is. Isn't it? Yeah. I'm not sure that's going to help me much. I'm not convinced that the scale is going to work like that. Let's not do that. What are you doing, dude? Let's change that to 400. Maybe like. Hmm. Let's have a slightly. It's very. It really doesn't work with this sort of text. I'm sort of seeing like how these things work. Wait a minute. Whoa. That is nuts. I think the problem is it's not like a proper font. It just doesn't work. A lot of the problem might be the colors as well. But what happens if you change the front of this color? I wonder. Oh, we can't now, can we? I think it gets to the point like with text where I think you only get to change like stuff like once. It just changes the whole lot. There must be some particular rule. Unless I've managed to do it. Oh, no, actually, maybe it wasn't. That's actually a pretty interesting. I wasn't actually intending on doing that. So we changed the bevel. I wonder if we did the bevel and the side, and we left. I wonder what that would look like, right? If we could somehow get the side to be that green as well. Let me see if I can just see if I can somehow get this green to go on the side. Let's go really near, actually. Yeah, I did do it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, now that's looking better. I think the depth is ridiculous. I don't know what I was thinking with that. But and now we could do our stuff with the shininess, right, as well. Might not be a bad idea. Let's go full on with the shininess, yeah. Interesting. It actually helps with the readability. We need to be a little bit more. I wanted to get rid of the depth. How do we do that again? Where's the depth gone? Where is the depth, man? All right. So at the moment, the depth is. Just going to put in like 0.5. I want to see what it's like with a very small depth. It's kind of interesting, right? How it does it around. What if I did like a depth of like 0.1? 0.1 is kind of what you actually think might actually work. You still need to view it from like just the right place. I think that's the thing with 3D stuff. You have to just view it right from the right spot to get that effect. It's still very hard to read that. No, we can't really increase that. In fact, if anything, we want to reduce it down. That is not really helping the repeat there. Try changing the background a little more. I feel like just a regular dark green might be better. This is too dark at the moment. Yeah, not that much darker. Kind of interesting. Just trying to find something that feels better. Just looking at the this contrast here. I think, okay, well, that's the one I decided to go for. I've not actually even pressed this button before. What does this do then? Oh, wow. Puts even an extra little thing on it. That's not bad, actually. All right, well, I think we're going to probably just leave it there at this point.